Hello my witchy friends, welcome to the channel or welcome back to the channel if you are a returning subscriber. My name is Sophie, I am the Midwest Magician, and today I figured we would do a part 2 to our home protection vlog. Before we get started, I did want to give a little bit of an update from the last protection vlog. I had a comment and I so appreciate the person that commented this because they let me know that this book called Protection and Reversal Magic, A Witch's Defense Manual by Jason Miller has an invisibility spell in it. So I already had this book. I hadn't read all the way through it yet. So thank you so much. It's in, I believe, chapter 3 under personal protection. And I already had started doing a invisibility cloak spell for the house, but this gave me so many great ideas. I feel like I'm going to have to rework it. So basically, Jason Miller added a great anecdote about how sometimes invisibility cloaks are not exactly what you might think they are. He said he put one over his car as a spell and he got in a car accident, somebody hit him, and kept profusely apologizing and saying, "I did not even see your car." So for the sake of emergencies and emergency services and things like that, I think I will be kind of tweaking the spell that I started working on because I do want emergency services to be able to find my house if they ever need to. And it's funny because what I started doing, I think last weekend, and I had to sell a few things on Facebook Marketplace. I've been like very deeply going through all of my stuff and unpacking the rest of the boxes from when we initially moved and just getting rid of stuff and selling stuff on Marketplace. And two of the people that came to pick stuff up drove straight past the house. So I'm like, okay, well, something is working. So with that in mind, I do kind of want people, emergency services and people that I'm inviting over to be able to find the house. So I might have to do some reworking. But this spell in here is super cool. It's a little bit more in depth than, I don't want to say in depth. It's a little bit more ritualistic than I personally would do. That's just not quite my style. But I think it's a very cool spell. And I'm excited to kind of adapt it to my own practice and make my own tweaks to it. So thank you so much to the person that commented about this book because I completely forgot that I even had it. And it's a great book. Just as a, I'm not gonna review it or anything right now, but there are some intense things in here, I will tell you. This book is intense. So even, I mean, if you're a beginner, you can read whatever book you want, but there's some intense stuff in here. So I will be tweaking that spell a little bit to make it for my house specifically and so that I can have people still find my house that I need to come here. That said, I do have a few more things that I can share for home protection that I like to do. And the first one I started a couple of days ago. I filmed it for a completely different video that I'm not sure that I'm gonna release anymore. So we'll use it for this video because it does apply here too. I used a bunch of my red brick dust with the, I think it was coffee. Oh gosh, now I can't remember. It's a good thing that I'm filming myself because I don't like to write stuff down. But I used this and I will roll the clip for you now. And then today we're gonna use the rest of it for another little project. I got chilly. I had to do a wardrobe change. I thought it was supposed to be spring, but it's like been in the low 50s here in Illinois. Anyways, I ended up using a ton of my red brick dust, coffee, and salt, adding a lot more salt to it and placing it around the house. And the main intention for that is just kind of to pull any negativity out of the rooms that they're in. I tried to put them in the most heavily trafficked rooms in the house where we like to go and sit or do whatever, and it'll pull negativity out of the room, out of the air, and it'll put protection into the air. So that's kind of my intention behind that. If you don't have a red brick dust concoction, don't worry, you can do just plain salt. You can do salt with any kind of herb. Like personally, if I didn't have the red brick dust, I would do salt, coffee, and rosemary and mix it all together. So basically, if in the future I need to either top it off or replace it, I can top it off with the rosemary, with more salt, with more coffee. If I need to replace it entirely, I probably will end up buying a little bit more red brick dust just because I enjoy this. It brings like such a comforting, secure, and warm feeling for me. So as a protection energy, I think that's great. It makes me feel very safe, and yeah, I like that. So I'll probably get some more red brick dust, but just to top those off over time, I'll end up using probably rosemary and just a little bit more salt, and maybe throw in like a tourmaline or something, but nothing too crazy or fancy. But the next thing that I kind of want to work on, I want to use up the last of my red brick dust coffee concoction, and I'm going to make it into kind of like a paint or a paste so that I can do a protection sigil under my doormat for right in the front of the house. And maybe I'll do it in a few other spots in the yard. You know what might be a cool idea is if I make a few spots around the house with this concoction to do a sigil for my servitor to recharge herself so she can go to those spots and get any energy that she needs. I would have to continuously go to those spots and feed them. So maybe not, maybe I'll think about that. But it's a potential idea to have little charging stations for her. So as she's walking the perimeter of the house, she walks over that spot and it charges her. I like this. I like where this is going. I haven't made her yet. It's like really kind of intensive to make a servitor, and I don't want to forget anything. So I've been like writing this list of everything that I need to do to create her, and that's one of the things that I have yet to do is figure out how she's going to get energy to keep going. So maybe I'll have some spots around the perimeter where she can, as she walks over it, it charges her. And I could use this. I could use something else. That might be for a different thing. But let's make our little paint first and foremost before we decide if we're going to do extra stuff with it. This will go again under the doormat. So I'll show you what I'm gonna do, but I don't have chalk, but I think I'm gonna use some selenite to draw a pentacle, and then I'll paint over it with my little concoction. I'm gonna add to it though. I have this incense powder called Devil's Snuff, and it says, burn to temporarily blind all opponents. Stop others from interfering in your personal business. That seems pretty spot on for what we're looking to do, but instead of burning it, I'm going to be making it into a paste. My husband got this for me when he was in New Orleans, like, shoot, I think it was like almost 10 years ago. Can you believe that? But I'm gonna use some of this in my concoction, and I don't really use it all that often. This stuff smells really good, by the way. So I'm gonna do that. And I think I'm just gonna add in some vinegar because I do want it to be protection, and vinegar is something that I personally associate with protection. So let me grab some vinegar, I'll mix it in, and we'll see what the paste looks like. I got the vinegar. Okay. I might need some water or something to go with this too. It is getting pasty, but it's like so chalky that I don't know if it's working. And if you don't have like any, I'm just using the stuff that I have. So if you don't have anything like this, but you have like sidewalk chalk, use the sidewalk chalk to draw a sigil under your doormat. I'm going a little extra because I have the stuff and I don't want to waste anything. Or if you have like coffee, just use the salt and coffee grounds and make a paste like what I'm doing. You don't need red brick dust. You don't need anything special is what I'm trying to get at. And I don't want you to feel like you have to go out and buy anything, because you don't. We have so many things that are already within our homes that can be used for protection magic that you really don't need to do anything special. I think I'm gonna get a little bit of water to make it slightly thinner, because right now it's just very much like a crumble. Like, it looks like it would be a good face mask, but I'm not putting this stuff on my face. But I'll be right back. I'm gonna add a little bit of water. We'll mix it up some more. Okay, the water is making it a much more desirable consistency. This smells so good. Also, if you don't want to do something like protection, but you like want good energy in your house or something, you can do the same thing, but with like rose petals and lavender and like things that you associate with like peace and good energy, if like that's something that you want to do instead of protection. Like, a lot of the things that I try to do on this channel can be interchanged. Like, you can swap out the intention, swap out the ingredients, but do the same action to get a different result, if that makes sense. So I'm kind of happy with the thickness of this. It's a lot more liquidy. Like, I like that it moves when I move the bowl instead of it just being one clump. So I think the time has come for us to go out there, draw our sigil. I wish I had chalk because I don't really want to use a crystal, but I also think that the energy and the vibes would be cooler if I used selenite. Sorry, someone's walking past the house and I'm like, do I want them to see me doing witchcraft on my front porch? Maybe. I think it would be a cool energy to bring to the protection, to draw in with a crystal first. So that's what I'm gonna do. Let's go set up outside. And then I do have another idea that I'm gonna set up for outside too. So we'll do this first, we'll make the other idea, and we'll see how it goes from there. Oh my gosh, I'm frozen solid. It is so cold outside today. Again, where did spring go? I still have so much of this left. So I don't know that I'm gonna use it right this minute, but I might put it in a little jar or bottle or something to be able to use for another time, or if I need to recharge it or add stuff to it or whatever. This stuff really a little bit goes a long way, for sure. So I will probably bottle this up. The next thing I want to do though for outside, I had the idea to get a little jar and fill it up with a bunch of different things so that as people walk by, it captures their negative energy before they even come into the house. So they won't be able to bring anything in. I think I'm gonna start that right now, and I will show you what I come up with. Of course, I have to do a selenite stick. I'm also going to add in some tiger's eye and a little piece of black tourmaline. After that, I'm going to go ahead and put in our pentacle from the last protection video, and then I just have a handful of these flooring nails that I'm just going to throw in the bottle. And then I will also be adding in a little bit of salt. And then I will be topping everything off with some rosemary. And it's really that simple. That's all we're going to be doing for this specific little spell bottle. I'm glad that I didn't have to sit out there and do that much other than cover my little jar with dirt because it is way too cold for me. So another thing that you could do with the same idea in mind as the jar that we just made to trap people's negativity is to make a decoy or a witch's bottle. So you can get the same thing, fill it up with like your hair, your nails, your spit, anything that is associated to you, fill it up with that and then put nails in it. That's all I like to do because I also don't really want to hex myself on accident. I don't do vinegar because I feel like then I would just be making a sour jar of myself, but I will 100% do the nails and some pieces of me so that if something negative is sent my way or sent, you know, through my house, or someone comes to my house and thinks crappy things about me or whatever, it's trapped in that bottle instead of me. So that's more so personal protection. And if you guys want to see a video on personal protection, I have a ton of tips for that as well. I think the moral of the story is witches will have a lot of different fail-safes set up as far as protections go, but that's definitely something we can do. And the last thing that I think we can do for this video is to give an offering to our house spirit. Because if you are tending to the spirit of your home wants to protect you. It wants more of what you're offering it. And if you have a good working relationship with your home, it's gonna wanna keep you safe within its walls. So let's go ahead, we'll cook up an offering, or maybe not cook, but we'll get an offering going. And then I think I'm also going to do a protective simmer pot because it's probably one of the last times we can actually do a simmer pot here in the Midwest. I will share with you a Midwestern proverb if you're not from here. And it goes, it's not the heat that'll get you, it's the humidity. So I personally am not interested in doing simmer pots in the warmer months because it gets so stinking humid here. And I'm sure some of you in the South are very familiar with that as well. What kind of a person would I be if I did not offer my doggies some apple as I was chopping it up for the simmer pot? I swear I'm not a monster. They had to have some. They're too cute. So I have my offering here. I have the simmer pot on the stove. I don't know, I thought I would like to get an offering of oranges, or maybe like mandarin oranges or something, but I thought it would be a fun offering for the house. So I will leave it there, and off camera I will say a little prayer to my house and the house spirit, and that's how that goes. Protection magic, specifically for the home, there are so many cool things that you could weave into just your daily life and your daily home practice. There's so many cool spots that you could hide sigils and add crystals or sachet bags, which we could make sachet bags, but I feel like those are pretty self-explanatory. You just add in your protective herbs and crystals and put them throughout the house. It's kind of the same concept as those little bowls of brick dust and salt that I placed around. It's just in a different vessel. But make sure to remember where you put things and to recharge them. Those are my two biggest tips. Just some kind of rapid fire ideas. You could carve protective sigils in little candles that you keep around your house and light them when you feel like you need an extra boost. You could do some knot magic and weave a protection spell into the knots and place those around your home. An idea that I kind of want to toy with for my clothing, but could work for the house too, is getting tags. Like you can get pre-made tags, either draw or sew a sigil on, and then attach them to different fabrics. So you could do that on a blanket, like a security blanket. You could do that on your curtains to blind people from being able to see into your house. You could do that on your pillows. Really, for anything you could create a sigil for and incorporate it to any kind of fabric in that kind of way. The salt bowls are on the house again. You can charge your crystals for protection. I think in the last one we talked about asking your plants if they would be willing to help you out with protection. So you can ask your plants. You can ask, I have my ancestor wall over here. It's under construction yet again, and it's not for the reasons that it was before, but I can do a whole update on that as well, because unpacking boxes, I found a lot of cool things that I would love to share with you. But you can ask your ancestors if they would be willing to help protect your home, working with the spirit of your home or your house spirit, working with deities and angels. I do personally do a lot of work with Archangel Michael. His candle's almost burnt out and I need to get him a new one, but that is something that you could look into as well. So really any kind of magic that you can think of can be adapted into home protection. And if you are running out of ideas, checking websites like Pinterest. I'm in some Facebook groups, going on Reddit, although the Reddit groups that I'm a part of aren't, like, they don't talk about magic that much. So if you know of any good ones, let me know in the comments down below, because I'll go join those subreddits. But really unlimited options to add protection to your home. So I hope this video is helpful. If you have any ideas for protection, I would love to know. Again, Protection and Reversal Magic by Jason Miller is a really cool book. It does also talk about servitors in here and exorcisms. There's a lot of stuff in here. I haven't read the whole book yet, but there's a lot that you could go off of in here. And I really hope that you guys found some inspiration from this video. And like I said before, use what you have on hand first and don't feel like you have to go out and buy anything, okay? So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll insert some footage of the simmer pot boiling and bubbling. And thanks for watching.